Hey everyone, welcome to your practice. My name is Veronica. Today we're going to be doing a practice that is going to focus on our hip flexors. And so during the day, we do a ton of sitting, right? So whether we are sitting at the desk or we're behind the computer or we're driving in the car. And so this practice will not only stretch, but it will strengthen all of those small muscles that help to stabilize our hip joints. And so for the practice today, we're going to be using a couple of blocks and a blanket. So make sure you have those. And whenever you are ready, let's go ahead and meet in a child's pose. So for our child's pose, I want you to bring the toes to touch and separate the knees, and then sink the hips back, and then begin to walk the hands out in front. You're going to drop the forehead down to the ground. And then begin to bring the hands together, right? So you bring the palms to touch, and then take a bend in the elbows and bring the thumbs to touch the back of the neck. Then begin to walk the elbows away from you. At the same time, pull the hips down towards the heels. They may not get there. It's all good. So the arms are right alongside the head, so you should feel a stretch in the back of the arms. You feel a stretch in the spine. And then also in the hips here. I'm just taking a few cleansing breaths here. Bringing yourself into the practice, into the present moment. And so for the practice today, I'll ask that you go ahead and just set an intention. And just something that you can bring with you into your day today. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and stretch those arms out nice and long. And you're going to begin to rise on up and come right up into a down dog. So lifting those hips up and back. And then just dropping one heel and then the other. Just getting settled, getting moving here in the down dog. And then just pausing here. And then rippling into a plank pose. Shoulders are out of the ears, the core is engaged, the thighs are engaged, and then go ahead and push it up and back into that down dog. And so we're going to just flow between the two. So you're coming forward into that plank pose, pausing, and then push it up and back into the down dog. And again, and up and back. Good, two more like that. So using your core here, just rippling into that plank. And then up and back into your down dog, pausing here. Good. One more time into your plank pose. Once you're there, you're going to go ahead and drop down to the knees, uncurl the toes, and then lower yourself down onto the belly. Keeping the hands right underneath the shoulders, elbows are drawn in. On the inhale, gently lifting your torso up, and exhale and lower. Good. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. So you're lifting any amount here. Inhale, lift, and lower. Good. Go ahead and push yourself up and back. Come on into that down dog once again. Coming into a three-legged dog on the right side. So right leg up and back as you draw the left heel down towards the ground. You're going to bring that right knee into the chest and then kick it back. And then bring it in again and kick it back. Good, two more like that. And last one, I want you to hold it here. You're bringing your gaze between the hands, just holding here. And now we're going to step that foot between the hands. Now, if you need some assistance, just go ahead and grab onto that ankle and plant that foot down. Once you're there, go ahead and plant the back knee, uncurl the toes, and inhale, sweep those arms up to the sky, and then drop those shoulders down, right? Pinkies are turned in. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, I want you to bring the hips forward as you come on into your cactus arms. Good. Inhale, pull it back. Exhale, sink it forward. Good. Two more. Just flowing with your breath here, sinking those hips down. Good. One more. Good. And just hold it here. Don't hold the breath. Breathing here. Good. And then just go ahead and lower those hands down to the ground. You're going to go ahead and curl the back toes, lift the back knee. You can either use a block underneath the left hand or not, and then sweep that right arm up to the sky. And you're bringing your gaze with it, and your back leg is really nice and engaged here. Good. One more breath. And then slowly lower it all the way down. You remove the block if you've used it, and then step it back into your plank pose. Once you're here, you're going to lower down onto the forearms. Palms down, fingers are spread nice and wide. You're going to bring your feet a little bit closer together, and then we're going to dip the hips from side to side. Now, if this does not feel good for your low back, you can always do this on your knees, right? Just let the action come from the core. Right, so you're moving those hips, dipping from side to side. Try to keep the gaze between the hands. Good, you're breathing. One more each side. Good, back to center. And then go ahead and slowly lower yourself all the way down to the belly. We're going to bring the arms alongside the body. Chin or forehead down to the mat. On the inhale, just slowly begin to lift everything up. So you're coming into that locust pose. So palms are facing into the midline. You're pointing through the toes, lifting those legs up. And then just keep the neck nice and long here. Good. One more breath. Good. Exhale, slowly lower it down. Hands underneath the shoulders. Push yourself up and back into a brief child's pose. So sink it back. And keep it an active child's pose. So come up high onto the fingertips and dropping the forehead down to the ground. Sink those hips back. Walk those fingers away from you. And then making our way back up into our down dog. Good. All right. So other side. So three-legged dog on the left side as you draw that right heel down towards the ground. You're going to go ahead and bring that knee into the chest. And then kick it back. Good. And again. Send it back. Good. Two more. Kick it back. This one, you're going to hold it here. Again, just holding, pausing. Keep the gaze between the hands. When you're ready, you're going to go ahead and step that foot between the hands. Grab onto the ankle if you need assistance. Drop that back knee, top of the foot. And then inhale, sweep those arms up to the sky. And then draw those shoulders down, pinkies turned in. Take a nice deep breath here. And exhale, sink those hips forward, coming into your cactus arms. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. One more. And exhale. Hold it here. Don't hold your breath. Pulling those shoulders back. Good. Sinking those hips down nice and low. Feeling a nice stretch here. Good. And then go ahead and lower the hands down. Curl the back toes, lift the back knee. Again, if you'd like to have your block underneath your right hand, you always have that option. And then sweep that left arm up to the sky, bringing your gaze with it. Make sure that back leg stays really nice and engaged. And you're breathing. Good. Slowly lower the hand down, remove the block. Once again, go ahead and step it back into your plank pose. We're going to lower down onto the forearms once again. Now this time I want you to go ahead and bring the feet a little bit closer together. And now you're just going to tap one foot off the mat and then the other, right? So your big toe is just tapping down, right? So you're just tapping off to the side. Good. And any amount. And again, if you need to do this from your knees, right, this is the option, but just make sure you keep that core really nice and engaged. I want you to keep the gaze between the hands. Good, pushing down into the hands. One more each side. Good, and now slowly begin to drop those knees, uncurl the toes, and we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. Now, if this is too much on the low back, I want you to separate those legs. And then if you still need some more relief, you can go ahead and pull those elbows away from you. You can always come into a cobra pose as well, right? Good. All right, so in our Sphinx pose, I want you to feel like you're pulling the elbows back towards the body. You're going to tuck the tailbone, pull the shoulders down, and pull the chin back. Your gaze is forward. Good, one more breath here. And then slowly lower it all the way back down. And then just push yourself up and back once again into that brief child's pose. Active child's pose, high on the fingertips, drop that forehead. Right, really lengthening through the body here, pulling those hips down. Good, one more breath. And then go ahead and make your way up and back into your down dog. Good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take that right knee, and I want you to bring it behind the right wrist. We're going to move into a pigeon pose. So the foot goes out to the left side, and then go ahead and uncurl the toes. You're dropping those hips down. Now, with your blanket, I want you to go ahead and bring that blanket. Either you're rolling it up or you're having it nice and flat, whatever you need. And then you're going to drop that right hip down onto the blanket for some support here. Good. So making sure that the hips are nice and square to the earth, then using your blocks, if you need them, on any height. You're going to see if you can just lower down onto the forearms. Maybe bring the palms together, and just rather than dropping the chin to the chest, you're just keeping the neck nice and long so your gaze can stay towards the hands. Good. And just breathing here, right? So you're just really breathing into this tightness, right? We do tend to hold a lot of our stress in our hips, right? And so just making sure to stretch and strengthen just to keep those hip joints moving, right? Breathing here. Just a couple more breaths. Making sure you're breathing nice and deep. All right, so let's go ahead and you can remove those blocks. And now remove that blanket. You just set it off to the side. We'll need it for the other side. And before we come out of this, I want you to roll over onto that right hip so that you can take that back leg and bring it all the way around, and you're going to plant it to the outside of that right leg, just coming into a seated twist. So now make sure both sit bones come down onto the ground, and then just go ahead and come on into your twist, right? So wrapping the arm around the front, bringing your gaze off of that back shoulder. Inhale to lift and lengthen, and then exhale to twist. Good, just two more here. Good, and then slowly unwind. You're going to go ahead and take that left leg and bring it all the way back behind you. Plant the hands, lift up, and come back into your down dog. And so in your down dog, just kind of make any moves that feel good for you, right? So maybe you're kind of swaying the hips from side to side. Maybe you need to just stretch out that right leg, whatever you need to do. And then when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and move on to the other side. So left knee behind the left wrist as your foot kicks out to the side. And then just go ahead and start to get set up, right? So you're dropping the hips down. You're going to grab onto that blanket. Again, whatever height you need. Tuck it underneath that right hip. Make sure that the hips are nice and square to the earth. And then whenever you're ready, you're either using your blocks, you can be up high, you can come all the way down to the ground, whatever works for you. And then just keeping your gaze towards the top of the mat. And then just trying to come to a place of stillness, right? Just breathing into the tightness, right? So really using your breath, right? Use your mind's eye to take that breath and move it to that area of tightness. Nice deep breathing here. And just giving your hips permission to relax. Making sure to keep your neck nice and long so you're not dropping the head down. And of course, feel free to close the eyes. Good, just a couple more breaths here. Okay, and when you're ready, you're going to go ahead and just remove those blocks. Go ahead and remove that blanket, set it off to the side, roll over onto that left hip so you can take that right leg and bring it all the way around, plant it to the outside of that left leg. Bring both sit bones, make sure they're down on the ground, right? And then wrap that left arm around the front knee, bring that right arm back behind you and bring the gaze with it, right? So inhale to lift and lengthen and exhale to twist just a little bit more. Good, a couple more like that. Deep breath in and a nice long breath out. Good, one more. And exhale. Good, and then just slowly come on back to center. This time when we unwind, I want us to go ahead and just take our soles of the feet together and draw the heels as close to you as you can. Now, bring the outer edges of the feet to touch, right? So you're opening up the feet like they're a good book, right? Knees will drop out even farther. And then sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath. And then exhale, you're just going to begin to hinge forward. Now, you're thinking about dropping the chest down towards the feet, and you may not go very far, right? I'd rather you just stay here, keep the neck long, as opposed to tucking the chin and rounding over, right? So staying up nice and long. And just pulling up on the feet to get yourself a little bit deeper. Good. And just breathing. And exhale. And letting those knees sink farther down towards the ground. Good. One more breath. And then slowly begin to rise on up. Go ahead and bring those knees back together again. And we're going to go ahead and come down onto our backs. And once you get there, I want you to go ahead and bring those knees into the chest and just an easy rock from side to side. And now taking the soles of the feet, you're going to bring them up towards the sky. First option is to go ahead and bring your hands behind the knees, and you're just going to go ahead and draw them down towards the shoulders. So we're coming into a happy baby here. If you can, you're going to grab onto either the inner edges of the foot or the outer edges of the foot, and you're going to go ahead and just draw those knees down towards the ground. And then if it feels okay and you'd like to, you can go ahead and maybe stretch out one leg and then stretch out the other, maybe rocking from side to side. Right, just kind of making moves that feel good for you here. And then just settling at center, just drawing them down. Try to keep the shoulders down, try to keep the chin pulled back. Again, always you can take this option of just having the hands on the back of the thighs. That will work as well. Good. And so just a couple more breaths here. Good. And then slowly release it. I want you to go ahead and send the arms and the legs out nice and long. So a really nice big stretch here, moving from side to side. And we'll spend a couple of minutes in a Shavasana. So I want you to go ahead and just flip the palms up to the sky. Bring the arms slightly away from the body. I want you to go ahead and separate the feet and let the toes fall out to the sides. And then just go ahead and close the eyes. And so just nice, easy breathing here. Making sure to stay here in this present moment. And not thinking about what we need to do next. Just giving yourself this time and this space. So just a couple more breaths here. And just begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then just drawing those knees up into the body and just roll over onto the side and then pushing yourself all the way back up. And let's meet in a seated position. And so as you go throughout the day today, just remember the intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you have enjoyed this practice, make sure you go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Send me a comment so we can connect. And then, of course, to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right, everyone, take good care, and I'll see you the next time. Bye.